Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're stepping away from the bright, indexed, everyday surface of the internet and plunging straight into the shadows. We're looking at the dark web empire, rise and fall. Over the next few minutes, we're going to deconstruct the architecture of a massive, completely hidden cyber syndicate. We'll examine the brilliant but totally illicit technology that built it, and ultimately uncover the microscopic human error that brought the entire thing crashing down. Because, this isn't just a story about code. It's really a high-stakes thriller about the absolute limits of digital anonymity. So get comfortable, focus in, and prepare yourself for a deep dive into an entirely different digital reality. Billions moved, one mistake ended everything. Just let that sink in for a second. We are talking about an invisible economy, generating unbelievable wealth, moving completely undetected, right under the noses of global authorities. It was an entire empire, totally shielded by layers of complex military-grade cryptography. And yet, for all of that impenetrable armor, a single, solitary misstep, a tiny, almost invisible digital footprint left behind by a human being. That was literally all it took to tear the entire operation apart. Keep that massive contrast in the back of your mind as we map out exactly how this happened. Okay, let's dive into this. The dark web isn't some place you can just stumble upon with a standard Google search, right? It's an intentional, unindexed, deeply hidden layer of the internet. I mean, to operate here is to operate completely in the dark. It is totally shielded from traditional surveillance and standard web traffic protocols. It's an environment built purely on encrypted code, and it's engineered from the ground up to keep the outside world out. But to actually get into this digital underworld, you need a very specific set of keys. And that key? It's the Tor browser. To access these hidden spaces, users obviously can't just fire up a standard commercial web browser like Chrome or Safari. They rely on Tor. It's this specialized gateway that fundamentally alters how your computer communicates with the rest of the world. It basically takes your direct, easily traceable connection and replaces it with this incredibly complex, heavily encrypted pathway. When you open Tor, you're essentially putting on a digital disguise. You're trading the fast, highly visible highways of the open internet for a labyrinth of hidden, ultra-secure back alleys. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how that labyrinth functions. First, you open the Tor browser. But here is where the magic really happens. Your connection gets encrypted in multiple overlapping layers. Think of it kind of like a giant digital onion, which actually is exactly why it's called onion routing. Instead of your data traveling directly from point A to point B, your traffic is bounced and routed through a completely random sequence of relays all over the globe before it finally hits that hidden website. By the time your request actually arrives, your original identity and your physical location, they're buried under so many layers of encryption that tracking you backward becomes practically mathematically impossible.
So, with that seemingly impenetrable anonymity network locked in place, users built a massive underground digital marketplace. And instead of everyday goods, this was a bizarre bazaar of endless, blurred listings for illicit products and totally illegal services. But the crazy part? The interface was sleek, it was sophisticated, it was remarkably user-friendly. It operated with the exact same ease as your favorite online retailer, except it was entirely in the shadows. Buyers and sellers interacted with complete anonymity, putting all their trust in that encrypted network to keep their true identities completely hidden from the authorities.
But look, an anonymous marketplace is utterly useless if you have to check out using a credit card tied to your real name, right? So the crucial point is how they solved the money problem, which brings us to the financial engine of this entire empire. To fund this untraceable marketplace, they utilized Bitcoin. This cryptocurrency allowed users to exchange massive amounts of value without banks, without physical cash, and most importantly, without revealing who they actually were. It was basically the perfect decentralized currency to lubricate the gears of an illegal decentralized marketplace.
And man, once Tor and Bitcoin locked into place together, the growth was just explosive. We're talking about thousands upon thousands of users globally. This was not some small niche forum anymore. We're looking at surging revenue, an ever-expanding base of anonymous buyers and sellers, and a digital empire hitting the absolute peak of its power. It was functioning flawlessly. Just this self-sustaining ecosystem of digital contraband generating millions of dollars a day and radiating connections completely unimpeded across international borders. But as this empire peaked, law enforcement was watching. Which forces us to ask the ultimate question. How do you track a ghost? If the onion routing mathematically masks your physical location, and the cryptocurrency perfectly masks your money, how on earth do you identify the people actually running the servers? How do you pierce an armor that was specifically engineered to be unbreakable? Well, the answer isn't found in breaking the encryption. It's found in outsmarting the human behind the screen.
This brings us right into the perspective of the investigators. Inside these intense, high-stakes FBI cybercrime units, brilliant minds weren't actually trying to hack the Tor network. Honestly, that would take supercomputers thousands of years. Instead, they were painstakingly analyzing the blockchain. They were hunting for patterns, carefully watching the flow of that digital currency, and waiting. Just waiting for the mastermind of the marketplace to make a single, solitary mistake in the real world that accidentally linked back to the dark web. They were literally hunting for a needle in a global digital haystack.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast it presents. On one side, we have encrypted anonymity, that massive, seemingly impenetrable technological shield we've been talking about. But on the other side, we have exposed metadata, because this is exactly what brought the entire empire down. The anonymous hacker, the creator of the whole thing, made a tiny, seemingly insignificant mistake on the regular open internet years prior. They posted a technical question using a recognizable pseudonym and inadvertently tied a real-world email address to a piece of code used to build the dark marketplace. The FBI didn't break the dark web, they simply found an old, exposed digital footprint that led right to the creator's front door. Once that metadata was exposed, the endgame moved with terrifying speed. Step 1, seconds. A hacker hits enter, inadvertently exposing a tiny digital trace online. Step 2, minutes. Investigators connect the dots to a hidden IP trace, instantly unmasking the ghost. Step 3, hours. The digital hunt suddenly goes physical. A quiet, mundane public library. FBI agents seamlessly surround the suspect. A sudden, chaotic arrest, and a face frozen in absolute shock as the mastermind realizes their impenetrable digital fortress has been breached entirely by their own human error.
And just like that, with the mastermind in handcuffs and the physical laptop seized, the fallout was instantaneous. The massive servers powering the entire dark web marketplace were systematically unplugged. Websites that had been hosting thousands of illegal transactions just moments before completely vanished, leaving users staring at blank error screens. The whole digital empire rapidly collapsed into sheer darkness. And simultaneously, as news of the raid hit the open internet, the value of the Bitcoin tied to those illicit markets just plummeted. The bustling underground bazaar was wiped entirely off the map, replaced by nothing but an eerie, total digital silence. Which kind of leaves us with this final, honestly chilling thought. Is absolute digital anonymity ever truly possible? Or is it all just a dangerous illusion waiting to be exposed? We've seen how incredible technology can build a flawless digital fortress for sure, but we've also seen how a single drop of metadata can completely destroy it. Every single time we connect, we leave a trace. Just think about the digital footprints you leave behind every single day. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the technology around you, and I will see you next time.